Take you to this scenario where the report presented to the president, he accepted it, but of course you know how some of these things happen. Let's see what exactly happened on the day.
Nigeria and indeed the world woke up during the week to a shocking revelation of a destructive environmental degradation in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. The year 1995 will be remembered as the year when a foremost activist from Ogoniland, Ken Saro-Wiwa, was hanged by the then military regime. Today, Ogoniland is back in the news, following a United Nations Environmental Programme report submitted to the President, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. Shell Petroleum Development Company has been indicted for a succession of oil spills over half a century. The report, which is a result of a 3-year investigation, found heavy contamination of land and underground water. The failure of Shell to meet minimum practice standards revealed a systematically contaminated 1,000 square kilometer area of Ogoni land with disastrous consequences for human health and wildlife.
They are all politicians, promise and fail. So I don't like them. You see? Huh?
Thank you.
I'm not happy.
Okay.
I know they're gaining from this, but we who are suffering from the effect of this thing, we are nothing. And we are suffering it. Hmm? People who are not even nearer to this thing are enjoying it. They feel it. Okay. No better air. You can't stay here in the evening time. Hmm.
Many have also estimated that the magnitude of devastation as contained in the report is comparable to the Gulf of Mexico spills. According to the report, the environmental restoration of Ogoni land could prove to be the world's most wide-ranging and long-term oil cleanup exercise ever undertaken.
Environmental challenges, environmental pollution are probably even more critical because pollutants can migrate to any direction that you don't even expect. So I believe that UNEP, in addition to helping us to conduct these studies, UNEP, being an organ of the UN, will also see how they can assist us to solve this major problem that we have.
Shell has not operated in Ogoni land since 1993, but accepts responsibility for the oil spills the company blames on theft, vandalism and bunkering.
There's nothing like violence. You could see that everything is intact. We did not tamper with their distance. So there's nothing like violence.
There must be something that the community feels that they lose if something happens to it. So that's stake. Whether you like it, you call it equity. If you like, you call that. But in my view, if the word equity seems controversial, you can also add it as a cost of production. In other words, if you are producing $5 per barrel, then why don't you add another 5 barrels, for instance, and say it costs us $10 to produce 1 barrel of oil, and that extra $5 is the cost of production which you keep for the community, maybe in sort of trust fund for their own development.
A statement from its managing director, Mr. Muchu Sumonu, and uploaded on the YouTube video reads in part, quote, "We are also committed to cleaning oil spill and restoring the surrounding land."
SPDC is taking what action it can. It is cleaning up spills from SPDC joint venture facilities, including those caused by sabotage and oil theft, and returning the site to their natural state. This work is checked and approved by government agencies, and we have recently made more than 100 temporarily shut-in wells more tamper-proof to stop further spills from them caused by theft and sabotage.
The best practices that this same company uses outside Africa should be adopted here, because it appears they are operating 2 standards. One standard for the developed world, where they have their parent companies, and another standard for Africa.
The UNEP report estimates a 25 to 30-year cleanup period that would cost almost $1 billion.
We will expect the government, this government particularly, to support this judgment and to make sure that Shell does not wriggle out of its responsibilities to this report and to the judgment that has been given against Shell?
There's no shortcuts in nature. The thing is that, first of all, the cleanup has to be done in the whole of the Delta, not only Ogoniland alone. Number two, infrastructure has to be put in place to avoid it repeating itself. Education. And then those who are suffering the effects have to be treated. Health.
Beyond the spills, there's also another form of degradation, gas flaring, which violates international conventions on protecting the environment. Nigeria is heavily dependent on oil production for huge revenue earnings. Isn't it time to take another urgent look at the Petroleum Industry Bill, an act which seeks a better fiscal regime for oil and gas production with the view to passing it into law? The UNEP report berates Shell's operations in Ogoniland. Again, while that report subsists, elsewhere, a British High Court has ordered Shell to pay compensation of potentially more than $400 million for 2 oil spills in 2008 at Bodo community, also in Nigeria's Niger Delta region. According to the report, Shell has also accepted liability, which leaves much to be desired. Its code of conduct to the host community is in sharp contrast to the barrage of allegations over their practices. Livelihoods and food sources have been destroyed. Ogoni communities also face serious health risk owing to the large-scale contamination of drinking water. It is time indeed to clean up, and many would want that done pretty fast.
So there you have it, chronicling some scenarios about that report. But Dr. Duan, I mean, the word out there is that, yes, Shell sponsored that report in part upon request by government. And so government also owning part of controlling JV ventures, as a matter of fact. And so how then, what is your grounds about the fact that they actually partly sponsored that report?
Well, in my state, like what I'm doing, I'm sponsoring the report for Delta states. I believe that if the body that has been accused of doing the damage sponsors the report, the confidence in that report will be very minimal. Because, I mean, like it's also already been said that Shell influenced the report. Why people say so? The assessment is that $1 billion will be used to mitigate the disaster. Compared to what is happening in other places, like the Alaska one, in which Exxon will be spent over $2 billion to deal with it, and that is less than what has happened in Ogoniland. Now, so for us, we are sponsoring the report, and hopefully, by the time we get the report, we'll think it will be more accurate, because we are using not just UNDP, we are using an arm of UNDP. We're also using some private persons to do the studies.